Too many Minnesotans are feeling crushed by the debt of tens of thousands of dollars.
Oh, man, some have to put off having kids or buying homes. It's very challenging to live your life. There are proposals out there to ease some of the burden, ranging from completely canceling student debt to maybe trying to have some sort of income test to decide where people should get that canceled.
Right.
But it made us wonder kind of where do we start from here, Heather? How much do we owe in student loans?
Right. So let's just talk about how many people have them. It's 43 million. So if you look at that, that's 1 in 6 American adults. But if you look at younger people, you're talking about a third of Americans there. It's not quite the level of where we are with our mortgages, but it's more than all of our credit card debt in this country.
Sheesh.
It's more than all of our car loans in this country, and it has just gone up and up and up. You know, like something more like 200% in just the past 15 years.
Right, and maybe that's what's most troubling.
Right.
You know, and it does point to the fact that people who are over the age of 30, certainly over the age of 40, you may not have exactly a handle on how big of an issue this is. Because college was way cheaper for us.
Right.
We had help from our parents in some cases. It's just a different game as to what the younger generation is dealing with. And Heather, the experts that you spoke to and the research you looked at, this is having a negative effect on the economy, right?
Yeah, and this is far more complicated than just tuition going up and our parents giving us money. There's a lot of reasons when this happened. So it starts kind of back in the 90s. It used to be that states would do a lot of the funding of the colleges and of the universities. Well, in the mid-90s, there was a switch. It was a legislative switch. And really it made loans more accessible for student loans. And the idea was to get college to be more accessible to people that perhaps weren't able to go before. You know, people of lower income, people who weren't attending college. And it worked. That more people were able to go to college. But then all of a sudden, and so the idea was there that, okay, you pay your, you get a loan, you graduate from college, you get a good job, and then you're able to pay it off.
Except.
Well, then 2008 hits. Right? And the jobs, for a lot of those graduates, gone for several years.
Right.
Yes.
Right. The recession was crushing for this, right?
Exactly.
But tuition never stopped. Like it keeps going up.
No. Tuition kept going up. Parents being able to borrow during this time, that also went up. So you see a lot of parents borrowing. This was also a time, sort of that early 2000s, where for-profit schools were getting to be big. And then the other thing, that the way that the interest rate works for some of these income repayment programs, you could end up coming into it and being on one of these programs, and then the interest, then if you're not paying it off, can turn into the principal, and it just goes higher and higher and higher there.
Yeah.
It's a
hard
complex
to fix.
issue.
Right. And there are equity issues, and just, canceling debt for people who are going to be doctors and making $400,000 a year.
Is that right? Right.
Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know.
How do you figure out who really needs the help there? Do you cancel 10,000 of debt? Do you cancel 50,000? It's so complicated. Also, the process is very confusing, and we at some point have to address the rising cost of college.
Yeah. For sure.
So there's a lot out there, and it sounds like they're going to be talking about it.
Good. All right, we've heard studies that say getting out in nature is good for your mental health.
Now new research out of the UK shows that maybe just looking out the window.
Yeah, you don't even have to go outside anymore.
Look how calming this is. Calming effect of looking at birds, plants.
Yes, so this was research out of the United Kingdom, focusing on our #1 natural environment, that of which right outside our window, right? I mean, the reality is, if you buy that going out into nature, like the research has shown, can reduce stress, reduce anxiety, can improve your mood, can restore your kind of psychological mindset, why not just look out the window?
I mean, that's what I'm going to be doing for the next couple of days. Well, I'm not going out there and breathing in that air.
I was wishing I would be going outside, but...
Does it ever calm you, Riley? Like maybe you're a little riled up at home? The kids are driving you crazy and you just look out the window?
Yeah, it does. Yeah. I mean, it helps, I would say. I would rather be outdoors.
Of course.
Doing that. But yeah, it does. I mean, I think too, the time for me typically is early in the morning when I'm not working, like on weekends, and the kids maybe are sleeping in, fingers crossed.
Right.
But that time, like I'm having some coffee, looking out the window, and just kind of seeing the sunrise or something like that, or maybe finding, a bird or,
Heather, just right now you look a little like you might be a little stressed. Like this college debt discussion, it's a little stressful. I just wonder if we could can we just give you a live look at some birds?
See? There you go.
There we go.
Ooh.
Is that helping? Oh, it's a cardinal.
This is Ohio.
Ooh.
Look at that cardinal. It's beautiful.
I love cardinals.
This is in Ohio.
These are these a lot of pigeons? What are I don't know what these morning doves, I'm told.
Morning doves.
Look at that.
Can we just listen?
Not a care in the world.
It is. See, it does help. It really does.
So they researched this.
Well, to me, it does.
They did a survey of, 270 people or so. Mm-hmm. And they asked people, how you doing? Check in on their anxiety, their depression, whatever the case may be. And they found that people who then they went out and counted the birds in their neighborhoods. And they found that people who live in neighborhoods with more birds are less anxious.
So I wonder if part of this just has to do, like, you're just taking a minute to stop. Okay, you're taking a minute to stop
And breathe.
and
Yeah.
and count the birds, and that's
Sure.
all you're thinking about.
Do birds ever make you anxious, though?
Yeah,
Do
for
they?
sure. Yes,
I mean, I
they
think if
do.
you're watching like Home
You're
Alone
worried?
2 and what's her, the lady in the park and all the pigeons land on her, I mean, that would make me anxious too. But
you're worried, like maybe you're along the shore and you're holding a sandwich.
There are so many crows over by the University of Minnesota. There are, and I always have wondered,
They're coming
what
for
is
you, Heather.
happening here?
Yeah, I know it.
It's a good question.
the birds.
To some of us, the birds are calming. To others, horrifying.
I mean, well, you may have anxiety of birds. Some people do.
I may.